Hey everybody and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this video we're going to take a look at the unresolved and frankly really weird disappearance of one Brian Shaffer. Brian Shaffer was a second-year medical student at Ohio State University. In 1998 he went to OSU for his undergraduate, and in 2003 graduated with a degree in microbiology. Shortly afterward, he started attending Ohio State University again, their College of Medicine. In March 2006, 3 weeks before Brian's disappearance, his mother died of cancer. His friends say although he seemed to be handling it well, her death was hard on him, considering how close they were. And on April 1st, 2006, Brian Shaffer vanished completely. His family and friends described his disappearance as highly unusual and out of character for Brian. By all accounts, he was a happy medical student with good grades and a girlfriend that he loved. They were planning to leave for spring break vacation to Miami, Florida on April 3rd, 2 days after he was last seen. His family reported him missing after he missed that flight. It's worth noting that quite a few family and friends of the couple, as well as his girlfriend herself, suspected he was planning on asking her to marry him on this trip. So, not one likely to just make himself disappear. On the night of March 31st, Brian Shaffer went out with a friend, William Florence, to go bar hopping to celebrate spring break starting, with William's friend Meredith Reed joining them. On April 1st, 2006, Brian Shaffer disappeared without any witnesses while out drinking with friends at the Ugly Tuna Saloona. The biggest mystery here is that the security camera footage seems to show Brian re-entering the bar, but never leaving. But his body was never found. A security camera near the entrance to the bar recorded him talking to 2 women at 1:50 a.m. William Florence told police that he had seen Brian after he came back inside the bar, but lost track of him in the 15 minutes before the bar closed. William Florence and Meredith Reed stated that they searched the bar, shouting Brian's name, yet they couldn't find him. William claimed he checked the men's restroom and called Brian's phone. When there was no answer, they assumed Brian must have left without them and walked home. He has not been seen or heard from since. None of his personal belongings disappeared with him, and his bank accounts haven't shown any activity since he disappeared. Brian Shaffer was reported missing on April 3rd, 2006, after missing his flight to Miami. Since he hadn't been seen in 2 days, an investigation and search started immediately. Brian's car was found at his apartment, and all of his belongings were untouched. Later, when police turned their attention towards William Florence and Meredith Reed, Reed agreed to take and then passed a polygraph test. While at first William cooperated with the police investigation, he then got a lawyer and refused to take a polygraph or talk any further with the police. His reasoning being he simply has nothing new to tell, and was totally upfront and honest with the police investigation from the beginning. As far as William is concerned, this matter is closed. Odd statement to make, don't you think? Brian's disappearance has stumped many investigators over the years, since there were no other entrances or exits to the bar that didn't have a camera pointing at them. Despite the FBI getting involved in the investigation and many searches for Brian over the past number of years, there is still no trace of him. Police began their search for Brian at the Ugly Tuna Saloona. Police interviewed employees at the bar and the 2 women Brian was last seen talking to, but none of them could supply any useful information. Police never found any blood or any other evidence inside the bar. Since Columbus has the most security cameras in any city in Ohio, police looked through the footage from the nearby bars to see if any of their footage could explain how Brian left the Ugly Tuna. However, they couldn't find any trace of Brian on the other bar's cameras, or any security footage from businesses along his route home. Investigators realized he could have changed his clothes in the bar, or put on a hat and kept his head down to hide from the cameras, which I don't believe is very likely. I mean, he was planning to propose in a couple of days, and bringing a change of clothes with him and knowing where every single security camera is along his route home. He was a medical student, he wasn't Jason Bourne. It is feasible he could have also left the building by another previously unthought of route. However, the building's only other exit was a service door, used by the staff and not open to the public. At the time, it opened onto a construction site that police believed would have been hard to walk through in the dark. They did take some dogs through the construction site, but they didn't pick up enough to make the police think that Brian had left that way. The search then started to extend out from the Ugly Tuna Saloona. Police started searching nearby streets, checking dumpsters, nearby bodies of water, and canvassing locals, asking if they had seen him. The police even compelled the city to let them into the sewers, so they could look through there. After searching miles away from the bar in every direction, police started to consider other potential possibilities, other than an accident, or foul play. Since his mother had died so recently, they suggested he had run away to grieve and would come back. Yet when his disappearance was shown to be, well, permanent, and no obvious reasons emerged for him to voluntarily leave, this was obviously proven to be, false. That's not what happened. And still, even to this day, no useful information has been uncovered. He walked into a bar, and he never walked out. Was there a black hole in the bar? Did he escape through the toilet, like that scene in Trainspotting? One of the many theories people have come up with is that he could be a victim of the smiley face murder theory, though this has been met with a lot of skepticism, because, that would make Brian Shaffer the only victim who has never been found. Columbus police rejected any connection to the alleged smiley face murder theory, and as I've gone into in a previous video, it's widely thought to be non-existent. Another theory is that William helped Brian Shaffer vanish. Why though? Why would a second-year medical student want to throw away over 6 years of college, hard work, his family, and a girlfriend he loved? That doesn't feel right. Why would he want to vanish? Brian's girlfriend got 3 rings when she called Brian's cell phone 6 months after he'd gone missing. His cell provider stated this call going through and the resulting ping off a tower 14 miles away could have been a crossed wire, a glitch essentially. However, is it possible that the killer, Brian's killer, his disappearer, Brian himself, briefly turned the phone on? It's possible, anything's possible, but I don't think it's likely. I think that was definitely a glitch. In September 2008, Randy Shaffer, Brian's father, passed away. After his obituary ran online, a condolence book was posted. One of the signatures in it said, "To Dad, love Brian," marked from the US Virgin Islands. This suggesting that Brian left and moved to the Virgin Islands? What? However, upon further investigation, the note was found to have been posted from a computer accessible to the public in Franklin County. It was determined to be a hoax. A pretty sick hoax, but a hoax nonetheless. So, as to how Brian got out of the bar, maybe there was a blind spot. where he was able to evade the cameras at some point, some window maybe. For all we know, the whole thing could have been planned. The building that houses the Ugly Tuna Saloona was under construction, and there was a temporary freight elevator that didn't have surveillance. Maybe he could have somehow gotten out that way, or maybe he could have been near that area, seen something he shouldn't have, and was the victim of foul play. Also, if Brian did manage to get out of the bar without any cameras seeing him, and maybe a couple of blocks away, he would have been walking home, but he was quite likely a little bit drunk. And the area around where he lived, it was known to have a high rate of crime. However, the FBI got involved. A lot of people, they really wanted to find Brian. So, if he was the victim of foul play, either in the bar or on the way home, it's unlikely that they would have avoided detection. Honestly, I don't think he left the bar alive. Something must have happened, and then maybe he was killed or knocked out or injured and somehow, and his body was snuck out, maybe covered up. You know, the old roll your body in the carpet thing. They snuck him out of the bar that way. Maybe later, maybe the next day, who knows. But this was over 12 years ago, so if anybody does know what happened to Brian Shaffer that night, they are keeping that secret very well hidden. And it doesn't look like they're going to be telling anybody anytime soon. Brian Shaffer's disappearance is a mystery with far more questions than answers. And it seems crazy to me that a man can just disappear without a trace in a bar of all places. To date, there have been 0 confirmed sightings of Brian Shaffer. Oh, and the Ugly Tuna Bar closed down in May 2018, so if there was anything there, any evidence, it is long gone by now. Thanks for watching. Mike out.